refresh. Okay, so that number hasn't really changed much over the last month because realistically, yeah, the last 2 or 3 weeks sales have been slow, which is what it is. I've not had much interesting stuff to sell, so naturally, if stuff isn't interesting, people are not interested in buying it, so they won't buy it. So the total sales figure hasn't really gone up much. That's also part of the reason for my lack of uploading any videos recently, not selling much and being busy with work. But that's not to say that is the end of that, because of the things I currently have listed, there is an eruption brewing that will materialize later this week, but more of that in a second. So in the last couple of weeks, I've been meaning to do a sort of fly on the wall day in the life of a what I do type video, and I really should take my own advice of writing down ideas and such, and I've just been lacking the discipline to write things down, relying on my own memory, and my memory then failing me. Yeah, what's been happening is the night before I go to bed, I would say to myself, yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll do a day in the life video, following everything from when I get up, what I have for breakfast, if I have breakfast. I don't always have breakfast, where I'm going, interesting things I see or find on my journey, because sometimes I'm driving for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and then what I'm actually doing once I'm at the job. Something of that nature might be coming soon. I've yet to record anything, so yeah, we'll get to it. Anyway, back to this. So, as I was saying, a shitstorm is brewing. No, I'm joking. Although one nearly did, because someone left me neutral feedback and I wasn't too pleased about it. And yeah, I've just offered to send him out some freebies if he'll change the feedback. Basically, I sold a network switch, and I was fairly certain that I'd put in a power cable with it, and apparently the power cable was nowhere to be found. So he felt best to leave me neutral feedback and explain in the feedback. I'm going to show you. This really annoyed me. Feedback as a seller, and then look at the one neutral feedback. Item not supplied with power cable. This was not mentioned in the description, and the item was photographed switched on, so presumably had a cable, question mark. Okay, clearly he's illiterate, but whatever. Why would you not just email or contact the seller, eBay, and say, by the way, power cable's missing. I'll happily send you out a freebie because I've got hundreds of them. So I messaged him and said to him, look, there's no need to try and make a mockery of this whole thing. If you want a power cable, just say so. I'll send you one. No problem. So yeah, he messaged back and said, well, if you send a power cable, I'll amend the feedback. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, back to the shitstorm. Okay, it's not a shitstorm. Hopefully it'll be a shitstorm of money raining down. So as you can see, I've got some toys listed. Not much interest in them. A battery and charger. This has been an interesting journey because this started at 99p, and within 10 minutes of listing it, someone messaged me and said, or asked, have you got a buy it now price in mind? So I said to him, yeah, sure. I'll amend the listing. I'll add a buy it now price. Don't know if you can see that, but there's a buy it now price of £25. However, rather than just taking my offer of £25, he went ahead and placed a bid for 99p. Fair enough. And 24 hours later, a whole shitstorm of bids followed, and it's now up to £41, which, I'll have you know, is actually higher than the original value I paid for that battery and charger. So, magic. Then I've got some dental gear. Don't ask how I got it. It's there. Not much interest, except for this one, which has one bid, £50. Yay. Golf balls. No interest. Now, golf club socks. Golf club socks. Yeah, as in the sock that you put on the end of a golf club. Okay, the price isn't high, but the interest is there. I listed this, and within 10 minutes, I had 3 bids. Okay, that only took it to £2.20 or something. And then today, had another bid that took it up to £3 and a penny. Okay, so it's 5 bids in total. It didn't cost me anything to acquire these wood covers, they're officially called, but it's interesting to know there is a very active market for them. A pressure cooker, of all things. I really didn't think people still wanted or used manual pressure cookers. So this has a buy it now price of £29, but it started bidding at £10. It's now up to £20. 7 bids. Who'd have knew? Meat grinder. £10, one bid. It's a grinder. It's fairly useful if you need one. More golf stuff. No one's really interested. A hand mixer, one watcher on that, but no bids. Fitness stuff. One of them foam roller things. They're crap, but you know, a kettle of all things. It's still brand new. It's sealed. Started it at 99p. It's at £1.20. I'm just surprised that it's got any bids at all. And then there's a load of other stuff. Another hard drive, which seems to have no interest at all, which is mainly because it's a 500 gig hard drive. No one really cares about anything less than 1 terabyte these days. But all of the 1 and 2 terabyte drives I had are gone now. So this is what I'm left with, I think. Yeah, that is in fact my very last hard drive for now anyway. Right, and another book, one I've recently finished reading, listed it on there. These clogs, I'm going to remove them soon because there's been no interest in them, even though they are like brand new. I think they've been worn once. Then some old Apple TVs. Interestingly, I also had an old Apple TV infrared remote with these that I sold separately, and I'm wishing now I'd actually put a higher price on it. So I listed the remote for, I think it was £9 and free delivery, not thinking it would actually sell because I thought, who's still going to have an old Apple TV? Yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong because it sold within 5 minutes. So I should have definitely upped the price a bit and not have given free postage, because I think, judging by the fact that it sold within 5 minutes, says a lot. Anyway, Creative Inspire surround speakers. These, listing them at $7.50 each, as replacement speakers for if you've got one of these systems and you've got a broken speaker. You can't actually buy these speakers new anymore, and it's quite rare to find the individual speakers. So yeah, got a set of 5 and they all work. $7.50 a pop. I might drop that down to a £5 at some point, but also free delivery. These bulkhead lights, they've been on there for ages, no interest. This toy is now sold twice. People just don't pay. And then some more AV gear. These older listings, yeah, I'm sure you've seen these. So headphones, I had 4 sets listed. One of them is sold, which technically pays for all of them. If you don't know the background on these headphones, I did cover it probably a couple of months ago. I found them in a supermarket for £2.50 each. So I figured, well, I'll buy one of each colour before for £10, and then listed them on eBay for their retail price, which at the time was $10.99 with free delivery. And yeah, one is sold so far, so that's good. 3 more, blue, red and white. Oh, and then some fans. Lots of views on these, but no takers so far. That's what's been happening on the eBay front. If you'll excuse the mess, you'll notice that there is a distinct lack of a hi-fi rack. Yeah, so that finally sold end of last week after having been listed probably a dozen times. That was quite an interesting one, because it's something that I got for free, and I looked up the value of it online, and most of them were selling for, well, I think there were 3 sold examples of the same cabinet or shelf unit at the time for between £190 and £250. I figured, well, okay, I'll try the top end first. Actually, no, the first time I listed it, I went for the low end, so it was like 200. There was some interest. There was a few times where people had sent me offers on eBay, but like idiots, they would send me the offer sort of 10 minutes before the auction would end, before I would have time to respond to it, and then obviously the offer disappears. So what am I supposed to do about that? After the first couple of offers fell through, I rechecked other sold items, and there was, I think, 2 of them around the £250 mark, so I upped the price on mine to £250. No interest. Then I dropped it to 200 when they relisted. No interest. Dropped it to 150 when they relisted. No interest. Dropped it to 100. No interest. Dropped it to 50. And then suddenly bids coming in like one every other day, right up until the day before it was due to finish. And suddenly it ramped up to about £100. Actually, I think it was £94 it sold for. That was just a case of patience. It's a shame it didn't go for a higher price, because it was in really good condition. No scratches or dents or bent or broken parts. It was pretty much like how it would have come out the factory, with the exception of a bit of dust on there. It is what it is, On the speaker front, as you can see, I have been having fun disassembling these B&W speakers. As you can see, these tweeters are very mullered, so I've ordered replacement tweeter caps and voice coils, so I'm going to be replacing everything in there. Similarly, on the main driver, these combs are mashed for lack of a better description. So I've ordered not replacements but alternative caps. So I need to cut these out, and the caps I've got are black. So I need to first find this color paint them before sticking them on there. Although looking at this, these are painted as well. So these are actually clear plastic with silver paint on. So a similar solution, just to obviously make sure the dust doesn't get in there. Waiting on those to be delivered. Actually, tell a lie, I think they were delivered. There we go. So yeah, that's what's in there. So yeah, black dust caps. They need painting. Waiting for delivery of the tweeters, and then these little rubber grommets that I mentioned previously that holds the grill in. So on the front of the speaker, these go in there, and then the grill peg sits inside there and gets gripped by this. But as you can see, all of these are worn out and broken, so replacing those as well. Let me just make a bit more space here. As you can see, the back of the speaker, there's a lot of separation, moisture build-up. Yeah, just bad news basically. I've already started gluing one section, put an F-clamp on there, although it transpires the stiffness of this chipboard or MDF or whatever it is a lot. So the gap is slightly closed up here in the middle, but on the edges it hasn't yet. So I need to get some additional F-clamps. It's the one I have. Obviously, before you say anything, I didn't use these raw on there. I used plywood to act as a buffer. But basically, if I can open this up, with this one just clamping in the middle, it was causing it to bow. So I need a couple more to bring all of it in more uniformly. And then the idea is to get this bottom part sort of straightened out first, glued up. And I'm not applying massive amounts of glue, just small amounts of glue, just so it can seep in properly. And then once the bottom's up, do the same with the sides, bring the sides back in, and then bring the back in, because it has warped in every conceivable way possible. Let's see if I can get a better angle. So yeah, there you can kind of see as bad as it gets. There the gap's slightly smaller, but then here it's bigger. There it's bigger. These corners are split. Luckily, it's only the one speaker that's affected by the moisture, so just need to get this one fixed up. As I mentioned before, I still need to find bi-wire jumper thing, whatever these are called. I need to find a proper name for these. I'm missing one of these. Well, hopefully this video has been a worthwhile catch-up. As you'll notice as well, I've upgraded my